You've got to be pushing 100% all the time.
It's always important, just being consistent.
A lot of things that have to come together.
Winning feels pretty sweet.
For an overall, you have to have everything.
When you look at the time sheet, it's so, like difficult to actually win today.
When I race, I'm here to win for sure.
Want to win one again.
I really want to get that champagne taste again.
It's always the goal to try and win.
Anybody in the top 10 is a rival.
I'm feeling ready.
I think in the women's field, everybody's biggest rival is Isabel. Probably Isabel.
Everyone wants to be Isa. I would love definitely to go for the overall this season again.
Big rock.
Physical.
Long.
Intense.
Pretty savage.
The maximum effort.
Unpredictable.
Pretty indescribable feeling.
Yeah, that's tough.
Oh, that is so gnarly.
G'day trendsetters, welcome to the opening round of our 2024 UCI Enduro and E-Enduro World Cup. We are in the iconic finale Ligure and we are in store for a fantastic week of racing here. It's been a long off season, but our athletes are ready and raring to go, and our Ligurian coast always offers up a spectacular weekend of racing. Let's check out the course now and see what's in store for our athletes. The UCI Enduro World Cup course here in Finale Ligure takes our athletes deep into the mountains with 5 stages covering 57 kilometers and over 2,500 vertical meters of descending, taking in all of the classic enduro trails starting with base NATO. We then move into stage 2, Ingegnere. The longest stage meets the riders on stage 3, Supergroppo, at 7.2 kilometers long and over 650 meters of vertical descent. Stage 4 is Rocky Gianchi, which promises a whole lot of technical and physical features. And we round off the day with a crowd pleaser classic, Downhill Men's. Well, we know where we are and we know what we're doing, and it's about time we show you some racing. Our athletes gathered in the Piazza to grab their timing tips and head immediately to stage 1. Let's go and check it out right now. The first stage of the first UCI Enduro World Cup of the season was every bit as brutal as we expected, with bikes and bodies being tested to their limits. This rude awakening caught riders off guard with just how physical it was. As the heat built, the speed lifted, and so did the riders' exertion.
Mate, that's the flowy one, and it's hard, so hard. I'm gonna have to get my breath back.
First stage is super physical, but the other one after will be more physical. So yeah, it's like a warm-up.
I don't know, not too bad. That was hard though. I don't know how the others are gonna.
Morgan Shah put down a fantastic run at 5:51.9 that secured her 3rd place on the stage. Ahead of her was Cannondale's Ella Connolly. After a dramatic last season for Connolly, it's great to see her in the mix once again. But neither of those runs could match the reigning champ, Isabeau Courdurier, who ended the first stage of the day with a 6-second lead over Connolly. So this is what the result sheet looks like after stage 1. We've got our top 3, but their positions are anything but secure. With Trek Factory Racing's Hattie Harnden just under 2 seconds behind, we have Italian Nadine Elacosta in the mix in 5th place, and Raffaella Richter and Noga Karim round out the top 10. In our first wave of elite men, Mirko Vendemia was in there like swimwear and put down a heater. He was in the lead as our Group A seeded men were dropping into the stage and kept that lead until Orbea's Martin Mays bested him by just over a second. And despite slipping a pedal, our men's reigning champion Richie Rude took out the stage win by almost 2 seconds. Jack, you've got a bit of dirt on your knee there. What happened up there, stage 1?
Trying to push just that last corner, right-hander, just watch the front. But other than that, good.
After stage 1, our results look a bit like this. Rude's teammate Slavomir Lukasic is chomping on the heels of the top 3 on the same second as Vendemia. Despite a crash, Melamed is still in the fight, only 5 seconds back, taking 6th place on the stage. After a testing liaison to stage 2, our riders had no time to catch their breath, dropping straight into our second stage of the day, Ingegnere. Ligure seemed to be feeling the heat as she dropped back and took 4th place on the stage. Hattie Harnden climbed back from her 4th place on stage 1 to take her first stage win of the season. Morgan Shah bested up her stage 1 result and took 2nd place on stage 2. Ella Connolly stayed in the mix with a 3rd place on Ingegnere. After stage 2, Codure's lead is getting tested in the overall. Her 6-second lead from stage 1 has been sliced in half to put her 3 seconds ahead of Morgan Shah. The gap between the top 4 and 5th place Raffaella Richter is an impressive 9 seconds. Yet Ray Morrison is quietly making moves and returns to the top 10 after stage 2. Drama ensued for our men's race on stage 2. Fan favourite Jesse Melamed could only take a 17th on the stage. Italian Mirko Vendemmia seemed to be motivated by the Ligurian fans and grabbed a 5th place. Specialised Charlie Murray took 3rd on the stage ahead of Martin Mays, who took 4th. But it was a Yeti Fox Factory Racing double on stage 2, with Slavomir Lukasic only 4 seconds behind his teammate Richie Rude, who took the stage win. Our overall for the men's race after stage 2 has little movement. Rude has opened up the gap between himself and Mays and extended his lead to almost 7.5 seconds. Charlie Murray enters the top 10 in style and is now sitting in 5th place. Greg Callahan, Dimitri Tordo and Adrian Dailly round out the top 10. Many riders struggled with the tight liaison times, and it proved that it was not only the course stages that were reminiscent of the early days of enduro, with yet another physical stage, stage 3, Super Groppo. Ligure took another hit in the rankings to 5th place on the longest stage of the day. Despite a crash, Ray Morrison took an impressive 2nd place, with Ella Connolly hot on her heels in 3rd. Hattie Harnden's off-season training seems to be doing her favours as she quickly takes her stage win count to 2 for the year. The longest stage of the day, stage 3, proved to be the defining moment in both overall battles. Isabeau Coudurier has slipped 2 places since stage 1 and now sits in 3rd place overall. But it's a great British 1 and 2 as Harriet Harnden and Ella Connolly take the spots respectively. We're here with Ella and Morgan. Morgan, it's a very physical and fast start to the day.
Yeah, it's really physical and we don't have much time to get to the stages, so it's really like a marathon today.
We'll let you carry on to the stage. Ella, big physical stage, 7 kilometers for stage 3. How was that?
That was so savage. I felt like I was just riding like a passenger between all the climbs and flat sections, and yeah, just trying to hang on.
Richie Rude was feeling the effects of the physicality on the course and had to settle for 5th on the stage. Jesse Melamed bounced back from his mishaps earlier in the day and took 3rd on the stage, 4 seconds back from Charlie Murray, who took the number 2 spot. Stage 3 seemed to take a liking to Slavomir as he takes his first stage win.
Liaison times are pretty tight, but it's quite nice for me. It's like you don't have time for like make boring or something, so it's pretty exciting and it's fit me well pretty.
So physical, just crazy. I think one of the most hardest race of my life.
Unfortunately, due to an incident on stage 4 in the under-21 women's category, this stage was cancelled and they were redirected to the 5th and final stage, downhill men's. Well, just like the weather here on the Ligurian coast, things are really starting to heat up from our race day. Stay tuned for all the action from the final stages as I go and get a lemonade and some more sunscreen. Well, I'm having a great old time down here by the beach, but all my buddies are still up on track racing their little hearts out. Over 13 kilometers so far, 1,500 vertical meters of descending on a super hot day to start the season. Stage 5 is upcoming. We headed out on the track earlier this week to check it out. Let's take a look. On a track like Downhill Men's, your line selection is key. It's such a gnarly track, and it's the kind of track that it's like a roller coaster. Once you strap in, you're in that line until the very bottom. Now, as you pop out of the trees, there is some lines that will develop. The left-hand line in this particular section is the tried and true. You know exactly where it goes, but on the right, this inside line's going to develop. It is risky, it is gnarly, but remember, we're chasing the smallest of time gaps here, and this section funnels into the next bit. And it's a massive scenario of risk versus reward.
Mainly looking for what not to do. On this stage, last line of the day, I just want to make it home safe.
You have to be careful and check the good one. Yeah, I'm not sure, but inside or outside, you have to check. Oh, not like this. Oh, yo, teammate.
Don't do that.
Here I'm going to see where I come in and where I end up. I think there's a high line after this corner, but I'm not hitting that high line because there's quite a pull to get onto it. So I think it matters less where I go around this corner. So wherever's comfortable and flows, I'll go there.
Seems like you got to set up quite early on a lot of this track, hey? Maintain that momentum.
Yeah, definitely. And the loose surface makes it quite tough to do that.
What does that feel like to come through here with such a crowd? Like, it's like a tunnel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. There's nothing like it. Like, DH1 is iconic. So it's I'm really stoked it's back in the course and we get that feeling again.
This is where the results for the first UCI Enduro World Cup will be decided. Ella Connolly charged her way back onto the podium with a strong third place on the final stage. Morgan Shah managed to take the second spot on the final stage, but it wasn't enough for a podium spot. Isabeau would recover and lean into her year's worth of experience as she took the final stage win of the season, which secured her the second step of the podium to kick off her 2024 campaign. But it was Hattie Harnden who thrived in these physical conditions, and despite taking a 5th place on the final stage, she kept her lead from stage 3. And this is how we round out our first UCI Enduro World Cup of 2024 in the women's field. We have some familiar faces return to the top 10, with Ray Morrison sitting in 5th place, Melanie Pujan in 7th, Rafaela Richter remains wanting as she settles for 6th place. A commanding lead from Harnden sets her up perfectly for next week.
In this region was a very different situation, so it feels good to come here and have like a positive experience, you know?
Being back on GH Men, it's so amazing. I think every spectators are going to see it from the images. It's insane. It's such a cool moment with all of the Italian cheering for you, and I'm super happy. I will take that with me for sure.
It feels amazing. I definitely didn't think this was going to happen. I actually don't think I've been so doubtful of my abilities before, like before the race, and then actually completely turned it around and, yeah, I don't know, came out pretty good.
The physical strain from the first 3 stages visibly took its toll as their attention turned to the final stage. Italian local Mirko Vendemmia does his homeland proud and finishes the day in 4th place. Martin Mays conquered the formidable downhill men's and took 2nd place. Specialised Charlie Murray put down an impressive run, taking 3rd on the stage and slots him nicely into 2nd place for the day. The battle between the teammates was down to under 1 second between Slavomir and Ruud. Disaster struck Lukasic on stage 5 with an early front flat tyre, which would spoil his chance for his first World Cup win. Ruud focused his energy into the wild and famous stage to put in a dominant performance, bringing home the win in true Richie Smash fashion. Our men's overall result at the end of the day has last year's number 2, Jesse Melamed, 30 seconds behind and taking 6th place on the day, just ahead of Greg Callahan. Slavomir Lukasic would have to settle for 5th place. Richie Ruud took a commanding lead with 15 seconds between himself and 2nd place, which went to Charlie Murray. Martin Mays returns to the podium in style to take 3rd place for the day.
After a difficult 2023 season, it's good to be back on the podium, first race.
Yeah, just super happy the way I rode.
Heaps of hard work. Big shout out to the coach, Bradshaw, always keep me honest. But also had a lot of time off to kind of reset and get the mind fresh coming into the season, which has helped a lot.
Pretty stoked to get that first win out of the way. It feels like you can kind of start the season maybe like a little more relaxed, and everybody else will be kind of wanting to push more and more. So yeah, definitely feels good to do that and get that out of the way.
What a spectacular start to our 2024 UCI Enduro World Cup season opener here in Finale Ligure. Now, round two, we head to a brand new venue, Bielsko-Biała in Poland. And that's right, that sound you can hear, that's the fans screaming already. We cannot wait to get stuck in. And right now, let's check out all the action from our UCI E-Enduro World Cup. Let's take a look at our UCI E-Enduro World Cup course here in Finale. Stage 1, base NATO. Riders will then liaise to Stage 2 for Cabianca. From Cabianca, we head back through the hills to Ingegnere. From Ingegnere, we head across the valley and start with our longest stage, Supergruppo. After the Taz zone, riders will have their first power stage of the day. Stage 5, Legnano. From Stage 5, they head to the purpose-built Stage 6, Borderline. From Borderline, riders will head back up to the rocky Gianchi Trail. From Stage 7, riders head to Stage 8, Andrasa, before heading to the coastline for Stage 9, Downhill Men's. Loop 1 had a battle straight out of the line as Tracy Mosley dominated the first 3 stages, taking the first stage win and only 0.7 seconds behind Elia Marcellini on the second stage.
Yeah, really good. One big lift to the top, and then we've just been pedaling all day since. So it's just awesome, the trails out there. There's so many turns. We're saying it's almost like corner fatigue from just constantly left, right, left, right, left, right, trying to stay focused for a lot of racing time already. So it's been ace.
Florencia Espraniera, last season's #1, squared up to Mosley's time and headed into the technical assistance zone, the leader, by 6 seconds.
We had to save battery. We were going only tour for the liaisons. For me, it's tough to race this kind of stages that are flat and easy, but that's where the gains are tricky to get.
So a massive part of this E-Enduro race is the tech zone, the technical assistance zone. Riders have got to come back and swap batteries, get their bikes ready, bodies ready, fuel themselves up. And what's going on here right now in the tech zone? What are you getting ready for?
Yeah, just getting ready for them to come through, do bolt check, tires, battery change, and make sure everything's safe, no issues.
Physical start to the day here. You're straight into the technical assistance zone. How was 1, 2, 3, 4?
Oh, honestly, I'm just riding my bike, having fun. Painful stages, but I know that pain means fast times, so the more of that, the better, and I think there's a lot more of that to come.
Someone tell me the bike is easy, I say no.
Pretty much all the time over the engine, so a light bike was definitely the bike to have.
We had a different stage winner for 1, 2, and 3. The overall heading into the tech zone was decided by Stage 4. Ryan Gilchrist came out on top. Loop 2 started with a bang. Laura Charles moved up in the rankings after Loop 1 to take home 3rd place, away from Elia Marcellini, who dropped to 6th. Mosley and Espraniera swapping stage wins all day to the finish line. Despite losing 3 stages out of 5 to Mosley, it was the final stage that sealed Espraniera's fate. They kept their lead from Loop 1 to come out victorious ahead of Tracy Mosley.
Defending the title, everybody expects you to do good, and first race of the season, you never know how it's gonna go. And the heat out there didn't make it easy. That's why I trained for. I was in Chile, so I'm used to this temperature.
Ryan Gilchrist seemed to struggle on the power stages, handing the 2-stage wins to Kevin Merry and Tiago Ladera. Despite this, his lead after the power stages was sitting strong at 25 seconds ahead of Jose Borges in second. He would follow up his Loop 1 success by taking out 2 of the 3 stage wins after the power stages, which was enough to get him the gold.
Every time there was something painful, I made it my business to go fast and go faster than anybody else. Big years just getting started, and I hope we can keep the ball rolling.
Ryan Gilchrist takes the top spot with his first win in the E-enduro category, with Jose Borges and Cheche Camwan just behind him in second and third. The French dominate the men's top 10 with 5, 6, 7 and 8 going to Damien Oton, Damien Jordanengo, Kevin Marie and Hugo Pigeon. Flo Espraniera continues their domination from last year and takes the top step ahead of Tracy Mosley and Laura Charles. Sophia Wiedenroth sits hungry for more in 4th place. Louise Pauline and Justine Henry round out the women's field in Finale Ligure. Whew, what a weekend of racing. Now, I did miss being on the starting line, but there was more than enough excitement down here on the beach watching from the sidelines. Stay tuned to all of our racing action and all things mountain bike on our social channels, UCI Mountain Bike World Series and Eurosport Cycling, and we head to a brand new venue, so stay tuned as we check out Bielsko-Biala in Poland just next weekend. Ciao!